The Rose Bowl officially became the Daytona 500 on grass Monday, an offensive spectacle where scoring drives are measured in seconds, not minutes. It became the place where a team can score 48 points and lose for the second year in a row. It's a new-age fireworks show, never producing an overtime in its first 103 laps, until jaws dropped at the sight of 2 in a single game. A season after Rose Bowl records were pulverized in USC's dizzying 5,249 tornado of a win over Penn State, Georgia and Oklahoma reduced hearts and scoreboards to fine dust in the Bulldogs' 5,448 stunner that filled half the field for college football's national championship. Suddenly, the Rose Bowl is a Tacklers Anonymous meeting. And the game has grown into the most fun a group of 92,844 or so people can have without putting a whole bunch of probation officers on speed dial. When Heisman Trophy-winning quarterback Baker Mayfield summed up his career, through halting tears, he could have spoken for everyone about the flat-out bonkers game that unfolded. "I can't believe it's over," Mayfield said. "It's been a wild ride." Summing up what had transpired in the granddaddiest of them all seemingly required a degree from MIT, the teams combined for 1,058. There were 11 scoring drives of 6 plays or less in regulation. Oklahoma's Rodney Anderson ran for 201 yards, and lost. At one point, the Sooners iced their own kicker in overtime. Georgia, the fourth-best defense in America, hemorrhaged 531 yards, and won. "Visit the fridge at your own risk. If it was a measure of a heart attack," Georgia coach Kirby Smart said, "I'd be on the Richter scale pretty high." Head-scratching became an art form, via this Rose Bowl. Mayfield caught a touchdown pass. One Georgia scoring drive lasted 12 seconds. Another, 11. Another, 5. Another score, thanks to Stephen Parker's fourth-quarter fumble return, needed no offensive time at all. Defensive-minded Bulldogs allowed 31 points in the first 30 minutes. Since 2000, 5 teams needed 26 points or less to win Rose Bowls. In the last 4 years, 44 wasn't enough to get the job done. The scoring totals of the last 4 winners: 54, 52, 45, 59. The number of teams that cracked 50 points in the other 100 games? 0. The highest-scoring Rose Bowl in history also featured its biggest comeback as Georgia roared back from 17 down. "It's tough to describe right now," Sooners coach Lincoln Riley said. "Tell us about it." "It was hard to process. What was more mind-boggling, that Oklahoma had 360 yards at halftime or that Georgia had 291, and trailed by 2 touchdowns. 2 plays into the fourth quarter, the Bulldogs had piled up 425 yards and taken the lead. At one point in the third quarter, the Sooners' Anderson busted loose for 25 yards on 3-yard and 8, only to be stopped when he tackled himself. On the next drive, Georgia scored in 51 seconds. Oklahoma coughed up 24 points, then scored 14 in less than 2 minutes to go in front 4,538 on Parker's 46-yard ramble. The Bulldogs beat the Heisman winner with Jake Fromm, a freshman. "What in the name of the Goodyear blimp is going on?" "Obviously," Mayfield said, "I would have liked to have been on the other side of things." For Georgia, the finish stirred the ghosts of Herschel Walker, Vince Dooley, the Sugar Bowl and a national title dating back to the election of Ronald Reagan and the debut of the Rubik's Cube. When fleet-footed Sony Michel raced around the left side for the 27-yard winner in the second overtime, 1980 was fully and finally kicked to the dust expectations curb. The Bulldogs, who needed 24 unanswered points in a little more than 16 minutes to dodge near-fatal playoff peril, now own a Jan. 8 spot in Atlanta. Michael's first thought as he raced across the goal line and confetti began to fill the darkened Southern California sky: "We finally get a chance to play for something big," he said. This Rose Bowl wasn't flawless, just relentless fun. You had to question Georgia's clock management and decision to kick a long first-half field goal during a game shaping up to be a shootout. You had to wonder why Oklahoma, with the best arm in the game, didn't have Mayfield throw a pass with a chance to win in the first overtime. Questions lingered about the gift field goal the Sooners handed over on a poorly executive squib kick at the end of the first half, a 3-point spark that launched the Bulldogs into overdrive. None of it, though, trumped the endless ability of a bunch of kids to find answers and find a way. When Georgia linebacker Lorenzo Carter stretched his 6'6" frame enough to block Austin Seibert's field goal attempt in double overtime, setting the stage for Michel, the madness nearly was complete. The Rose Bowl lost its ever-loving marbles. Again. Caption Bryce.Miller at SidunionTribune.com, Twitter at Bryce _Miller